Welcome to the REALL Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by
the Resilience DoctHers,
Dr. Shika Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REALL Resilient framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out.
The Resilience DoctHers.
Alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. The implementation of the alignment framework prevents some of the most common problems in education, where leaders sometimes aren't sure where to start, or in our new age of educating, leaders need a trusted sounding board that allows them to be vulnerable and transparent, preventing loneliness at the top. The framework doesn't just help leaders, but also prevents teachers from burning out from too many initiatives and embracing teachers as they are the experts. Finally, the framework extends to the children, helping them get engaged in school and solving a nationwide problem. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water, succinctly creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in
the Resilience DoctHers
to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Take a look. People who work with
the Resilience
describe them as an
DoctHers.
excellent and inspiring group of leaders. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
It's Super Saturday, everyone. Welcome to episode 241 of the REALL Academy, brought to you by Create and Educate with your very own Resilience DoctHers. I'm Dr. Shika Houston.
Good morning, everybody, and I'm Dr. Tammy Taylor, and we are excited this morning to continue our work with you guys in the REALL Fam Academy.
Absolutely. And if you are REALL Fam members, tell us what kept you resilient in the work this week. And if you are new to the REALL Academy and this is your first time tuning in, you may be wondering, well, who are the Resilience DoctHers?
And we're glad that you asked. We are best-selling authors, children's book authors, award-winning educators, and speakers who transformed our schools by improving 2 and 3 report card levels in just a single year.
Absolutely. And after we improved our schools with our phenomenal staff members, 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year, people started to ask, what did you do differently? And this is what led to the development of our REALL framework that you see over our shoulders and at the top of the pane. That REALL framework acronym stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. And as senior staff developers of Create and Educate, this is what we use to help other leaders other educators transform their schools and their practices. So, if this is something that you are in need of, make sure you reach out to us. We can help you with engaging literacy strategies, and we are also looking for children's book authors visits. And make sure you get Amir's Awakening added to your summer reading that should be coming up very soon.
Absolutely. And if you can't bring us in, just keep tuning in here in the Real Academy, where we've actually been able to impact over 300,000 educators and about 7 million children through our Fantastic Four PD, which starts off each Saturday morning, which was deemed as Super Saturday by Principal Kafele at 10 a.m. with Principal Sean Hurd, who is always absolutely on fire. And then we follow in the Real Academy at 10:30. At 11 a.m., the leader's mentor and the GOAT of all things leadership, Principal Kafele, comes on in the AP and New Principals Academy. And then on Sunday, we round out with our PGP podcast with Dr. Marty Moreno and Principal Josh Tovar.
Absolutely. So please like, share, subscribe, send the stars, do all of the things that the platforms do. We need help building these algorithms, and we don't want you to keep us all to yourselves. Share us out to people who you know need the message, appreciate the message, and just are looking for some real fam collaboration. And we say please and thank you. And normally, if we were not pre recorded because we have an event today, we'll be promoting Amir's Awakening out in Wadesboro. Can I talk this morning? North Carolina, where day by day we'll be hosting a family event for their community. That's something my sister is a part of with her company, Nika Grafton. She is a in the mental health field. So we are excited to promote Amir's Awakening to their community. And we also need to give a shout out to Mr. Travis Commodore. Last week when we pre-recorded, we told you we were at the mother-daughter event. And so we were pre-recording before it had started, but shout out to him. Kudos to everyone that was there, vendors, the presenters, the participants, everyone who came to be a part of the LC Soaring Summit, the mother daughter experience. It was just truly phenomenal. And I'll let you speak to it as well, Tammy.
Absolutely. It was truly an inspirational event. And I was in awe most of the day. I think everybody enjoyed all aspects of what Travis presented on that day. It was absolutely phenomenal. And each of the speakers did an incredible job. The vendors were varied, and the folks seemed to really, really enjoy being able to visit and get screenings. And to that smoothie station was absolutely a hit.
It
People
was.
were down in smoothies, like, and it was insane. But I think that more than anything, that camaraderie and the experience for the moms and the daughters who were there um, was transfixing, because you could see the energy and you could feel the energy. It was just a very beautiful event, and I think it we closed out on a very high note with
Mm-hmm.
Bambi's presentation of Big Mama's recipes, and
Mm-hmm.
just an amazing day. So again, shout out to you, Travis, for having the vision, and I shout out the team as well, because you had a lot of people who came through for you in a big way to make that day a very special day.
Absolutely. And we really enjoyed making sure that all the mothers and daughters understood their mother and daughter secret sauce. And that was a hit too for everyone, and giving everyone some context for better communication, better understanding. So there are some clips posted on our site from the event as well. So if you have time, check those out. But as Tammy said, just kudos to everyone. Everybody was phenomenal.
It was. And you know what I thought was really a very powerful piece of the day? You all's
The
mother
panel.
daughter panel
Mm-hmm.
with perspective, I think was really a great way to open. And I think that set the tone for the total experience for the day. So yeah, it was a really, really good event.
It was. And to your point, we're going to be continuing that panel virtually. So you all will get to see some of that. We're excited to continue that work and partner with the Elsie Source Foundation.
Yes.
So, without further ado, that brings us to episode 241, From Intervention to Prevention, Strengthening Tier 1 the Right Way. And we're going to get right into it. So, you know that we've talked about several things over the past few weeks in season 5. And so today we're going to be turning data into action. We're going to be bringing it all together with a powerful shift from intervention to prevention.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we start with um, just acknowledging the fact that so many schools are overwhelmed with interventions. Um, the tier two list seem longer than the tier one
Hmm.
students, which speaks to that inverted triangle that we've talked about over time, and how overwhelming it is that you're in a tier three meeting constantly. But the real truth of the matter is, what we need to face right now is these are not student problems. Really, when you have that many kids who are assigned to interventions, it really seems more like a tier one problem, that there's an issue, and that flashing, you got a caution light going off signaling that there might be something going on in your tier one program in your school.
Absolutely, Tammy. And just like you said, when we see a large number of students that need intervention, it means that tier 1 is not meeting the needs of the students. So tier 1 should serve most students effectively. And when you have that inverted triangle, when you have those long lists in tiers 2 and 3 that Tammy talked about, it's not meeting the mark. It's not effective. So to be effective, we need strong instruction. We need clear expectations. We need engaging lessons, and we need consistent routines. And these are all things that should first be headed up by the instructional leader. And the instructional leader definitely empowers the teachers to do these things in his or her classroom.
Yeah, and the instructional leader has to um, garner from the instructional leadership team the tone for making this a consistent process. Like you said, those routines have to be in place, or you are going to have a weak tier one system. And if tier one is not strong, you are going to see more and more kids fall behind. But when you have a strong tier one system in place, you see fewer students who are falling behind. When the system is weak, intervention then becomes your system. Now, what I have observed with just the mindset about MTSS and interventions, the entire process, is you have reactive schools asking, how do we fix these kids?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas proactive schools are saying, what do we need to do to strengthen our systems? What do we need to do to make sure that strong tier one instruction is occurring in every classroom in this building?
Absolutely, Tammy. And so, what does prevention look like? It looks like clear instructional planning. That means that teachers are able to come together to have a true understanding around what's essential, what the unpacked standard is actually saying, and then a true synopsis of, because I think that some people miss this part, how am I going to connect this learning to the background knowledge of the children who are sitting in front of me? So, if you have not connected or figured out a way to connect that learning to the children that you have in front of you, that means you have to know something about them. You have to know their interests. You got to know their backgrounds so that you can effectively make sure that you're connecting what you're wanting or desiring for them to learn to something that is relevant to them. And so that is what clear instructional planning has to entail, especially for our newer generation. They are not compliant people to where just, oh, just because you said it, we're going to sit here and we're going to suck it all in because this is what everybody wants us to do. They are the why people. Why we need to know this. And you need to have an answer. You also need strong classroom management, consistent expectations, and then early support before failure. So you really have to be analyzing your data, making sure that you're knowing where the students are, who's getting it, who's not, so you can effectively intervene within the lesson before you ever get to the final assessment that you're looking at. So when we're aligning prevention to our real framework, respect means that students feel safe and supported. Excellence means that instruction meets high standards. Accountability means that expectations are clear and consistent. Literacy means that students can access the learning, all of the students. And leadership means that systems are monitored and supported.
Yes, Shika, that's really spectacular, honestly. And don't you think that when the systems are strong, the problems start to decrease naturally? Like you don't have to force it.
Absolutely, Tammy.
And leaders, I think, have to start asking continuously, when you really want this to be firmly in place in your building, is tier one instruction working? Is my tier one top notch? They
Hmm.
can't just ask, and this needs to be something that we respect all the way from the top down to the classroom level. You can't just focus and harp on, are you doing interventions? Are you documenting intervention? Now, don't get me wrong, documentation is important, and um, here's the queen of documenting. But what you also have to understand is it's not just about the documentation, because you won't need documentation if you have a strong tier one system in place in your classroom so that kids are able to successfully navigate um, the instructional landscape of the classroom.
Absolutely, Tammy. You are spot on with that. And, when we talk about this process not being a thing about fixing the children as the leaders, it can't be a thing for us as fixing the teachers. So we have to make sure that we are fixing the systems from
Right.
top top level leadership from the district office level. It's not about fixing the principals. So, we have to really look at what we're asking people to do because sometimes the expectations are unrealistic. We have to really work on the right work and look at the true systems that are in place, which ones are working and which ones need to go, because sometimes we are the problem. And so, what we really have to do is monitor. We have to make sure that our instruction is quality, that we have student engagement, that we are looking at behavior patterns, and that we're looking at our data trends. Because what you monitor is what will improve.
Yes, ma'am. And you are like really in that space where you have to make sure that administrators are attending to these things, because when your school feels overwhelmed with interventions, you have to ask yourself, what is it that we need to be doing to strengthen what's happening at tier one in these classrooms? Because resilient schools don't chase problems, they build systems that prevent problems from ever occurring.
Absolutely, Tammy. And I think one of the most powerful things that we did, and this was something that I actually got from you when I implemented it at my school, was that instructional manual. When you have a manual at your school for instruction and you are making sure that there's common language that exists, that there are commonalities amongst things that are going to be happening in every classroom for every student, what you have done is created a system that is equitable for instruction, for learning, for every child that walks into your building. So it is not we're taking a dart and shooting it somewhere and say, well, depending on who they get, that's going to be the type of education they get. When you have a manual that you're making sure that you're monitoring, number one, you've given PD on it, you've explained it, you have agreement amongst it, where people are in agreement that these are best practices, and then you're monitoring whether or not those things are implemented. Now you have a true system. So I
Right.
think that that was very powerful. Did you want to speak any to the instructional manual?
Well, I did just want to say that I thought, going in, what I realized very soon after, because one of the things that I think was, well, I know was different in our leadership journeys was you were very familiar with what was happening in the school because you had been there, you had been a part of the instructional process at the school, so you knew exactly what the instructional program was and what that meant for you as a school, which was great for you to identify immediately. Yep, some changes have to be made. Me coming in new, no experience as an assistant principal, no experience in that building other than from a supervisory perspective, like as a district leader, which does not tell you anything when you are on the outside looking in. You really have to be a part of a school's actual culture to know what truly is happening in that building. But I had to find a way. I kept thinking, when you come in a building and and I think this goes back to something that you taught me when you were talking about the Lizzie Bella rule.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in this school and there's only one class that I'm able to put Abby in at kindergarten, there's only one class I'm able to put her in at first grade, second grade, that does not sound like a strong system, because in my school, I wanted it to be such that you could go in any class in this school and get exactly what it is that you're going to need. And how do you make that happen other than creating a level setting expectations across the board? There can't be a hodgepodge of things happening in this room, standards based. Over here, we show up every day and We make it through the day. We kept the kids safe. Nobody got hurt, and we are that's the success for the day for that class. We cannot operate like that and have a strong tier one system, because in those instances, guess whose kids are going to show up on that MTS tier list?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes,
that's
it
how
does.
you change that. And I think you're very intuitive in that thought about how those things go together. If you don't intentionally show people what it is you expect from them, and sometimes you have to model it. That was when
Mm-hmm.
I learned this is when I have to be the instructional leader that can get into this classroom and model what it is I'm saying I'm expecting to see. I have to be able to co-teach and coach you, and I don't mean getting in Deborah Jordan's way of coaching.
Mm-hmm.
She's the coach, but I have to be able. She can't coach a whole school full of people every day, all day.
Right.
That's where the team becomes the most powerful tool in making the instruction possible in a school building.
Absolutely, Tammy. And to sum up what Tammy said, it's like we say in South Carolina, we don't want no bless they heart classrooms.
No, no.
Everybody got to be up to par.
Yeah.
So, if your school is in need of an instructional manual or anything that we've talked about to strengthen tier one, please reach out. This is the work that we do. And we appreciate you all joining us for episode 241 of the Real Academy.
Yes, and we are very excited again to continue this journey with you as we build systems that create a lasting impact. We are your resilience doctors, helping you create and educate so that you can thrive.
Absolutely. Please join Principal Kafele next in the AP and New Principals Academy. Make sure that you join Principal Josh Tovar and Dr. Madi Moreno in the PGP podcast on Sensational Sunday, and then come right back here on the next Super Saturday, starting off with Principal Sean Hurt at 10 a.m. Yours truly, Create and Educate at 10:30, and Principal Kafele in the AP and New Principals Academy at 11 a.m. And we are Super Saturday. So make sure that you all have a real amazing Super Saturday.
If you're on spring break, enjoy it next week.
Please, I am.